Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ngani Titan. And it's April the 1st, so beware of being pranked. I don't have any particular prank for you on April the 1st. I'm never any good at thinking of pranks. My aunt was an aunt of mine that she lived in the house with my mother and father and my brother, and she was the pranker of the family. She loved April 1st pranks. So over the weekend I took a bit of a break from the grind. I am almost, the T95 is almost complete in the grind. It has not a lot of experience left. There's about 130,000, 140,000 in the two artilleries, so I've kind of got to focus on them, which is a bit tedious, to be honest with you. So I took a bit of a break and I just played the AMX Chafee and the AMX 1357, and I realised in the 2 days that I was playing it, the drop in my WN8 is just dramatic, to say the least. I'm really crap at playing active scouting type light tank play, or active light tank play, or whatever you want to call it. I used to be a passive scout fan. I used to play light tanks, passive scouting. That was the thing that I was always achieving, so I was always trying to have find the right spot, get in there without being spotted, don't shoot the gun until very late in the game or until I was well double bushed and all that kind of stuff, and then spot tags to let my allies do the shooting. However, I noticed that in the last year or so you can spot quite a lot of tanks, but your allies might not necessarily do the shooting. They tend not to go into positions to do the shooting. There also tends to be, it's very hit and miss as to whether there's going to be tank destroyers on a game or not. I've had a lot of games. You have a lot of games now with no tank destroyers, just heavy tanks, maybe one or two lights, one or two mediums, and artillery, and the rest is just heavy tanks. But as a kind of active scouting light tank player, I'm pretty ineffective. And the main thing, of course, is that I'm just losing too many hit points at the start of the game, so I've got to be more, should we say, more circumspect, I suppose, and less active at the start of the game, spotting people. Probably more closer to a passive scout, with just the active scouting equipment, and stay away from trouble at the start of the game. Because what happens is, you see, that if you take too many risks at the start of the game, you take a few hits and you have hit points remaining, but you don't have a big alpha on the guns. You have a pretty lightweight gun, light tank, even on the single shooting light tanks. Let's say some of the Russian ones are exceptions. The LTG and the LTTB and them actually have medium tank guns, and they are the exception. But a lot of the other tanks actually have pretty weak guns. They're just a very rapid rate of fire or very large clips like these French ones. Although the 105 version of this wouldn't be a weak gun. I presume this is the 57mm, so it's kind of 66. Well, this is, I don't know what's on this. 90mm gun, I think. It's a 90mm gun on this, and it's a fairly decent alpha out of it. But the AMX 1357 in particular has very low alpha on the gun. It's like 66 points of damage or 70 points of damage or something like that. And people will rush in on you. Even with full health, they'll rush in on you. And okay, you have 13 rounds in the clip or something like that, 12 rounds in the clip, and you probably will kill them if you last long enough. And you probably will if you're in full health, but you'll come out of it with little or no health left. They will, even if they beat you, they will almost invariably die, because they'll be so weakened by the experience that when they're still spotted when they're leaving the location, there's a good chance to get shot by an ally of yours and they will die. So it's very much a YOLO on the part of the enemy's part, but it takes you out of the game. And if you've taken out of the game early, then your achievements in the game are quite limited. So I guess what I'm saying is I've got to realise that I'm not a medium tank and I'm playing a light tank, and play it more like a light tank, and that ultimately I think my medium tank play will probably also improve. The other thing that I was looking at was the news on World of Tanks. Obviously the weekend just passed was the space game, Spacefaring Rover 237. Didn't bother with it this time. It can be a lot of fun, but I just decided I had tanks that I would like to play. Did actually population, I suppose, is small enough now. Enough people played it. I did notice an increase in battle queue times, considerable increase. Particularly at sort of early afternoon on Saturday when things were kind of quiet, I suppose. I wouldn't have the population I'd have later on in the evening. They're obviously pushing World of Warships Legends to people to get the founder pack. It's 2 weeks' time it'll be launching, and I'm certainly looking forward to that as well. I will definitely give it a go. So the other news, of course, is the introduction of spring games. So there's going to be now spring games, same as the winter games. So you'll have Alpha, Beta, Charlie. So this one starts on April the 2nd, runs till April the 29th. The ultimate prize, if you complete all three, is you get a free IS-2M. I'd be quite happy with it free. I think it's a decent tank from what I remember from its statistics. But I have already got lots of Russian premium tanks, so it's probably not one that I would go about buying. It's got the same structure as before, so you start off with 5 points for Alpha 1, 10 points to Alpha 2, 15 points, and it's all the way up to 400 or 500 points, I think 550 points for Spring Games Alpha Final. Worth silver, consumables, experience boosters, the usual stuff. I find the Spring Games pretty good. I think it's a cheap way to earn a tank. It doesn't cost you a lot of effort, and it's really good for grinding because you get the experience boosters, but you also get experience boosts within the operations for completing points. So usually during the points there's something that'll give you 125% silver, or something that'll give you 125% crew experience, maybe multiple things, and you have lots of operations selected at the same time. Taken all together, these can knock a quarter off the number of games you need to complete a tier 9 grind. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. If you did, please give it a like and a share. Feel free to comment. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.